Fátima, and I'm talking to you from beautiful Newfoundland, who I have the fortune to live in. I love this place. So if you're new, welcome. If you are coming back, welcome back. Summer was great, and I'm going to talk to you about it at the end because it was a long summer. And I will start talking about the finished projects. I will do just the finished projects because I have too many stuff. And then I'll do another episode with the work in progress, maybe in 3 weeks or so. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with the shawl Starburst from Stephen West. I did a lot of changes. So, I used 100% alpaca yarn, and then I got, it was a synthetic. Synthetic is not my preference, but it had this color variation that I really liked, and I got it together with the almost lace yarn, and I put it together. And I love knitting this shawl. What I changed from the shawl from Stephen West is that he changed the colors. He used fingering weight. That this one became more than fingering weight. I would say probably a decay, because I put together the two yarns, and I wanted just to do one color, and I loved it. I loved knitting it. It was very good. But when I was knitting it, I was thinking, it's so thick, I don't think it's going to look good at the end. And then I joined the same fiber as the brown here from the same alpaca that my friend Michelle gave me. And then I did the border, and it turned out really nice. It was like, it took forever to finish the border, because when you were doing the border on this side, you were doing a cable, and the other side is I-cord bind off. But I really liked it. I think it looks perfect. I haven't blocked it, and I don't think I need to, because it just works perfect. So this was a project that I had for a long time in my needles, and I just finished it. I think it was since May last year, and I finished this year. So this is the Stephen West Starburst, and I really love it. The other little change that I did is that he finishes his shawl, the I-cord here, and then this part doesn't have the I-cord. So I did the I-cord up to the beginning of the cable. But it's very cozy. It doesn't feel heavy, because I thought it was going to feel heavy. And I love the color variation, how it grows. So beautiful. So beautiful. So this was a project that was in my needles for a long time. That is done, and I'm very happy with it. Much happier than I thought I would be. Then I had bought, this is 50% linen, 50% wool from Rosarios 4, is the Alvor. And I had done a cardigan from Filipa Carneiro. It was the Portico. And I had leftover. This is really not my color. I gave the coat to my friend. And then I had one bow and a little bit more, and I'm showing you the wrong side. I don't know, both sides look good. Yeah. So I did this shawl. This shawl is a free pattern in Ravelry. Let me see the name here. And I really liked it. I used up all my yarn that That is what I wanted to do, to use up all the yarn. And as all laces, once you block it, it's totally different. And the way I blocked it, I just washed it and I put it to dry on my stairs rail. And this is the Jacob shawl. The original had still more to go, but I do love it a lot. I think it turned out good. I have a lot of mistakes on the lace because I just understood the lace when I finished. I think that's the problem when you don't read the whole pattern before you start. And when I was doing this, I thought this is a good shawl to give someone in Brazil because it has 50% linen. It's not going to be so warm as we need warm here. And then because I made a lot of mistakes while I was knitting, I said I'm not going to give this to anybody because I wouldn't give something that I think it's not good, you know. But after I did finish and blocked it, I think it turned out so beautiful. So beautiful. It's just not really my color, but it's beautiful. So yeah, it's going to be a gift for somebody that enjoys it as much as I do. I think the lace turned out really, really good. I really love the shawl, and I like the shape that is more like a crescent. I really like the shape. So it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's not a difficult knit. It's just that I didn't pay attention. And what I didn't pay attention is that I needed to have a certain amount of stitches for the thing to go right. And I think I made some mistakes in the middle of the way that caused the numbers to be wrong. But if you follow the pattern and count your stitches when you're going to start the lace, it's an easy fix because you increase one row, one stitch each right side row. So it is really nice. So this is my second shawl. And it's not warm enough for here. The other one that I thought was going to be a gift, then I thought it's not going to turn out well. It turned out well, and it's going to be mine because it's very warm. So the other finished project is this cardigan. So I bought the Kate Davis Club, and I did a few of the patterns. I wanted to do them all, but I got stuck in this one, and when I finished, I decided that I wanted to work on my older projects. So this is the Gallivant from Kate Davis. And I have some things to talk about. I love knitting it sideways. I love doing the sleeves sideways because you don't pick up stitches. You just do short rows. And the whole pattern is about short rows. So it's really good. What would I do differently if I were to do it again? So first thing, when I start doing the rows, I was leaving the yarn to be dealt with afterwards. And the brown yarn that I was using more often, I was just putting it, making loops to use it. So if I were to do this yarn, this coat again, and I'm not going to do this one, but she, in the same club, she has another one that I really like that I plan to work on. What I would do is this Steven weaving as you go. Because after a certain point, I did the Steven weaving for all the other stripes, and it worked fine. And I was hoping that when I was doing the I-cord, I was going to involve these wraps that are coming out, but that doesn't happen. So if I were to do it again, I would do a Steven weave-in to all the rows, including the brown ones, so that I wouldn't have this little curves here. So that's what I would change. The yarn that I used is Knit for Olive, and the yarn that she was promoting in this club is the Mille Roche. But the thing with the Mille Roche, well, I didn't have the Mille Roche, and it's in England. It takes a while. So I use Knit for Olive. I got the same row count, and what? I got the same row count for the thing, so the gauge was spot on. Everything was right. But when I bought it, like the Mille Roche comes in balls of 25 grams, and it's 100 meters. The Knit for Olive comes in balls of 50 grams, and it's 109 meters. No, 25 grams too, but I think it's 90 meters. I don't remember. But the thing is, I bought way more than I needed. So I bought 3 balls of each, and I used 1 ball and something. So I have a lot of leftover that I don't mind, because I already have another pattern in mind to use the colors that are left over. And I can show you the pattern that I think. And I think it's going to be great to use together with this cardigan. Oh, so I will add a few other colors, but this is the pattern that I want to make with the leftover that I have. So there is a woman in Instagram that I follow. She's textile mixologist. I think that's what she is. And I love her clothing. And she normally puts different patterns together, but they have one of the colors at least that is the same. And I like it. So I think that this pattern together with this, and then I'm going to use some blues on it that go with the gray. I think it's going to be beautiful. So this is my cardigan. I wanted to, from the club, I still want to knit at least 2 for sure. But after finishing this, I decided to take a break of garter stitch. And because most of it is garter stitch. And the other thing is, you have to pick up stitches, a lot of stitches. So every time I had to pick up stitches, I would postpone it. So it took a little bit longer to finish it, but because I don't like to pick up stitches. And they were easy to pick up. That was not the problem. Normally she works with the slip stitches in the beginning and everything to make it easier, but I didn't want to do that. The other thing I changed is I did the buttonhole holes when I was doing the I-cord. I did another pattern from Kate Davis that she did this. She did the buttonholes on the I-cord. So you just work a little bit, 2 or 3 I-cords without joining it to the yarn, and that's what you get. So the issues with this is normally when you have everything tied up, it opens a little bit. But my idea for this is to wear it only with the top one closed, and then the rest will be open. So I really like it. It's a good one to wear over dresses, and I like it a lot. So the other cardigan that I finished is from Isabel Kramer, and it is the Callias. I used hand spun yarn with lichen silk mohair, and I think it turned out really nice. So I hand dyed it blue, my yarn. It's Corriedale, 100% Corriedale. So it was spun natural, and I did my dye with blue, and I wanted a darker blue. So I put some black in my blue dye to make it darker, but it was still too blue. So when I used the silk mohair, it gave me a little bit darker, and it gave me a depth in the blue that I really like. And so this is Caellias from Isabel Kramer. I haven't blocked it. I need to, because it feels like it needs to be blocked. Just because it feels like when you have everything not right, right? So, and I know it's going to grow a little because I have done other Cordeo hand spun sweaters that when I washed, they grew a lot, and I'm okay with that. So this thing is like, she had in the pattern, she had a size for 44 boost and a size for 47. I am 46, but it had 18 inches or some 12 inches, something like that, easy. And I don't like that. So I decided to do the 44, and it's not tight. I think it's really good. And when I wash, I think it's going to grow a little bit more. So I'm okay with that. It's very, very cozy, very warm and nice. It's a 3-ply yarn, but I left it very lofty, even though it was not spun woolen. It is very lofty and comfortable. The only thing with this pattern, I start this pattern in May when my sisters came because it was one color. So I decided to take it on the road with me because I thought it's just one color. It is, but the construction, as all her constructions that I have knitted so far, it's different. So you start with the collar, one side of the collar, then you get the other side, then you do, let me see if I can show you here, because this is really cozy. So you start with the collar, and then you do this part, and you have to go up to a certain point, and then you go straight down, right? Then you pick up stitches here, and you knit this part, and then this part. And then when you are at the right side, you join in the round. So my first problem is that even though my gauge matched the stitch count, the row count didn't work very well. So I was a little bit afraid. But in the end, because she says, I think she gives the how many centimeters or how many yards you have to work there, it worked fine. But I was trusting the designer because I didn't know how it was going to work. And if you see, this stays a little bit in the back. So that was a little bit like, I didn't know what was going on, and that was uncomfortable for me. But I trusted her, and here I am, the result. The other thing is you have to reduce this from time to time, and I end up forgetting. So, but I like it. She had two versions, a crop one and a bigger one. I went for the bigger one, and for me it could even be bigger. The stitch is, you do one row. It's in the back, you do the stitch is one purl, like this part here is one purl, one knit, one purl, one knit. But the other row, you just do the purls, or you just do the knits, something like that. But it's nice. I really like it. It's warm, and I'm happy. So this is something that I think I'm going to wear a lot because it's an easy put on, and if it's hot, it's done, right? Then on my trip, I decided to start the muscle burro hat. That's an addiction. So the first one I did, I said, I'm going to see how it goes. And I had a decay yarn that was left over from another project, another Stephen West shawl. And I decided to do that. So let's see. I didn't trust the designer, and I increased one more stitch. I did one more increase, so it's not tight to my head. It's a little bit wild. If you want to use it as a slouch, you can. And if you don't, I still can fold it. And it covers my ears. And it's good. So I really like it. So I liked it so much. And this is Fios da Fazenda. It's a Brazilian brand. So then I like it so much that I had this that is also Fios da Fazenda. It's 100% merino. And then I got this from, I think 2 or 3 years ago. I got this from Mariana from Meias Marias, made a secret friend. And I participate. Most people were in Portugal. And I got this beautiful pospés that I wanted to get. And I got it. Like, really, it's like you ask the universe and the universe sends it to you, because all the Portuguese podcasters were talking about the pospés, sniff the skein, and then I got this. And I had this for the longest time, and I didn't know what to do with it. So it's hand dyed by Paula, dyed by Alfinetes. She's not dyeing anymore. And then I found the perfect use. I was going to use these two together. And even though I use the other one, I think it could be a little bit longer. But I normally don't do hats for my husband because he tends to wear the hats here, and it enlarges the rib that you put on the bottom. But this one doesn't have a rib. He liked it, so it's his. It's just for the show now, and then it's his. And I really like it. I like more. So the muscle burro hat, you need 2 hats in one. And that's why I like better when you do 2 different parts, because then you have 2 different hats that you can change according to what you are wearing. So if I'm wearing something more green, I can put that, or I can just have the border green. So I really like this. So once I did this one, I thought, oh, this is a great pattern for you to just relax. Watch TV, relax. You don't need to check it on. It's just beautiful. Then I had leftover. I had 2 yarns left over that were in brown. I personally am not a stripe person. I'm not into stripes very much. There are some beautiful stripe patterns, but it's not my thing. So what I did is I used one yarn was on the top. The top I just used one skein, so it was more brownish, and then the other had yellows, oranges, and browns. So I used 1 row of each, and it was all leftovers that I had. I had little balls, and I was able to do this hat that is a little bit bigger than the other. And I just noticed that I forgot to weave in this end. And in the other side, I used a green opal green that I had bought for Christmas socks, but I thought was going to look great with this brown and yellows and stuff. So I do like it. So two good things. I used up the yarn that I had, and I have two different hats. So again, so this one I tried to make a little bit bigger than the other one. I follow the amount of stitches that she had, so it is almost tight on my head, but I like that. And then if you want to use just one color and you want to use slouch, you can. I love this. I loved it so much that while I was knitting, I was thinking, this is going to look good on my grandson. So if he likes it, it's going to go for him. And mainly if he comes to visit me, he's going to be very cold because Newfoundland is windy and cold and beautiful. So this is my third muscle burrow, and I started to, I think I will do more. Then I said to myself, I have to reduce the ongoing projects that I have, and I had like 8 projects left over that were old, and I was going to, I said, you know what, I had just done the ribbon. It's twisted rib, and I don't like to do twisted rib. I discovered that, and it was a intricate pattern from Interweave magazine that I don't know where I put it. So I didn't find the magazine, and I said, I'm going to undo it. And I said, oh, I didn't like doing the ribs, and to undo it is a crime. So I went to my stash, and this is free pattern. Let me see if I have it here. If I don't, I will look for it. No. I don't have it here, but I'll write it down in case you like. It's nice. It's an easy one. I just matched the thing, made a pom-pom because Mihai said it needed a pom-pom. And it's a good hat. It's just not warm enough for Newfoundland because I feel like the wind is going to blow through. But I like it, and it's a little bit slouch. You could probably fold it a little bit, and that would protect your ears a little bit more. But, so that's my 4th hat. I was always thinking, I want to knit a hat, and I was never knitting a hat. I don't know why. And this time I have 5 hats. So the 5th hat was not supposed to be a hat. It's a beanie. So Martin Story worked in collaboration with Rowan again, and he did a shawl or a cow, not a shawl, a scarf or a cow. And I decided to do it because I wanted to use up whatever felted tweed I had. I don't like this yarn very much, probably because this color was just breaking on me like crazy, and I didn't like it. So I wanted to finish off with my stash, and I started doing that. But I decided then he had a 4 repeat pattern, and I was making a lot of mistakes on the pattern because the pattern had stitches and points, and let me show you, let me see, so that I explain what happened to me. Okay, so here is the pattern. So first of all, it's a very long repeat, so it's hard for you to memorize. And second, you see, this 2 dots was my light color yarn, and the white spots were the gray yarn. But while I was knitting, I was constantly doing it wrong because I would see bright here. So I used the light color instead of the black. So I had to undo it quite a few times. So that was the first thing. So I decided to do 3. I was going to do a cow. And that was something that worked well for me because instead of starting with the rib that he has in the shawl, I started with provisory cast on. And then I start doing that in 2 colors, and I add 2 colors that I had, and I came to here. Then I said, I think it's too colorful. Maybe what I'm going to do is add gray here, a block of gray, and then the next block. And then I said, you know what? I'm not that much into this pattern. I'm not into the yarn. Why am I doing this? And I did 3 repeats instead of 4. So when I was, I think, up to here, I remember watching, I think it's Tracy from Wool and Wishes, and she said she was working on a cow that she had put less stitches, and she decided to change it into a hat. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do the same. And that's what I did. And then I got the provisory cast on, and I just did I-cord bind off, and voila, I have a very tight beanie with a little bit of curve, and I think it's nice. It's a beanie. I like the beanie. I'm still getting the pattern, and maybe someday I will need it, because I saw Simone from Fleece and Harmony. She used other yarns instead of the felted tweed. She used some hand spun and stuff, and hers is getting really beautiful. So, but anyway, I got a beanie that I'm gonna give somebody. Then last year, I did the Martin Story blanket with the felted tweed, and that's when I didn't like the felted tweed very much. So I had all the squares done for the longest time, and because the Martin Story is every September, so this was from September last year. So what I did is I joined it with crochet because I didn't like the other joins, and I washed it again now with all the things together, and I put on my stairs rail to dry, and it has dried pretty good. So I have a lot of stitches here, that a lot of yarn that I would need to weave in, but I don't want to waste too much time in this project. Like, really, I don't want to waste too much time. So what I decided I will do is I bought some flannel, and I'm going to put the flannel, because first I thought, you know what, I can knit something in the back, getting the stitches, and just go on knitting and knitting and knitting, and then it would be a reverse blanket that you can use both sides. But I don't want to spend more time on this. So what I'm going to do really is I already bought the flannel. I have to iron it and then stitch it together. And when I'm looking here, I can see some parts that when I was using the crochet, it didn't go in completely. So I can still try to fix it, but I don't know if I want to. There's no hole. It's just that it shows a little bit. So I'm happy. It's another long-term project done. I learned the lesson. I don't like to do little squares and then put them together. That's not for me. If I am to do a blanket that goes on, it's okay, but otherwise, not for me. So, and it's a very good thing because Fleece and Harmony started another blanket that is big squares. They're beautiful squares. They're designed by Simone and Betsy, but then afterwards you have to sew them together. They're bigger squares, but I decided no, that's not for me. So this is what I have finished. I have some working projects that I have another blanket that I worked. I still have the primrose that I've been working on. I started new stuff. So I'll do another episode about it. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened. So about the summer in general, the stores I visit. So if that's your thing, thank you very much for watching. Until next time. If not, stay with me and we'll chat a little bit longer. So, we were set to go to Alaska. And on 3 days, we got 3 days of rain all the time. And we figured out on those 3 days, Lucky was wet. He didn't like to be in the car because what we were trying to do while we had a holiday on a Monday was to go as close as possible to Alaska in a row. So we were in the car for the longest time and it was raining and Lucky was stressed, very stressed. So we thought, okay, we don't think he's going to make it to Alaska. So let's do another bucket list that was to drive from Quebec to Labrador, then come back, cross with the ferry into Newfoundland and come home. So to go to Alaska and come back, we were thinking that it was going to take us probably 3 months. So this was a shorter trip and we explored Newfoundland. So what we did is we left here, we crossed the 6 hours border to Nova Scotia. Then from Nova Scotia, we went to Trois-Rivières. And Trois-Rivières is where there is a store called, in Quebec, it's called Autricot. I loved the store. Well, I loved all the stores that I have been to. But that was the first store in a while. So I loved it. I bought a lot. I bought nice things that I didn't have, so that was good. And they had a Chiago set on 20% discount, so I bought that because I was going to buy some Chiago needles, 3.25 millimeters and 3.5. So I said, you know what, I'll buy the whole kit and I get a lot of stuff because I also need some cords. So I ended up buying a lot there. And then from there you cross the Saint Laurent and you go north. So it's gorgeous, gorgeous. Quebec is really, really gorgeous. And then we went up and we got some tryout experience from the roads that we were expecting to get in Alaska, but it was for a few hours only. And then we got to Labrador City. Labrador City is more like a working area. Like it feels like people go there just to work in the mine, and then they they will move on. The houses didn't feel like homes. They felt more like a shelter, a place for you to be, to cover your head and stuff. From there, we went to Goose Valley, Happy Valley, and that felt more like home. We went to a camping ground, and it was really nice there. I don't remember the name, but it was nice. And then from there, we just came. It's a lot of, when you are up there, it's a lot of trees. We got a little bit of trees that were burnt by fires. And 2 days after we left Labrador City, the people that live in Labrador had to leave because there were fire danger around the area. Then we got the ferry back to Newfoundland, and we went again to Lansomidos, that is the north in that part, the northern part of Newfoundland, and it's gorgeous. We went there again just because we loved it before and we were close, so we decided to camp there for maybe 3 days. And then we went back south, and Grossmorn National Park, it's gorgeous. I really recommend, if you have time, if you come to visit, that you go there. And I discovered this time that there is a yarn store called Skivers. So they dye some stuff. They have a nice selection, different from what I found at Autricot. So I liked it, and I bought yarn. So that was pretty good. In terms of location, after that, because our idea was to explore every nook and cranny of Newfoundland, because it's so beautiful. And we did that, but I have to say that Lachie, it's L-A, separate S-C-I-E, is amazing. And the camping ground that we found, it was funny because Mihai asked the guy, can you give us a nice spot, right? And he said to Mihai, our lots are beautiful. And he was right. We saw a lot of whales there. The sunsets were amazing. It was gorgeous. It's totally worth going there. And then after that, we went to Triton. Triton is okay. It's okay. It's, well, for Newfoundland standards, it's okay, because Newfoundland is gorgeous. So Triton is okay. But what they had there is Cast On, Cast Off. Cast On, Cast Off was a yarn store in St. John's, and they moved to Triton. And I went to both. And the Triton store is in her house. It's like a garage or a separate area. And it's much bigger than the Cast On, Cast Off that we had here in St. John's. And it was nice. Again, I bought. So now, if you are coming to Newfoundland, it's worth going to all the stores. And lately, there was a new store that started in May. It is, what is the name? It's Windswept Fibres, and I went there this past weekend and I got some fiber. I'm not going to show you what I got because it's a lot. So most of it is for patterns that I had in mind. My husband is laughing here, but anyway. And the thing is, my thought was, we were going to Alaska. We were going to spend much more money, so it was a shorter trip. I was going to buy yarn. But right now we have 3 wool stores in St. John's. We have Wool Trends that has a great selection. They have a varied selection. They have affordable yarns. They have a lot of synthetics that are very soft, but not what appeals to me. They have some indie dyed yarns that are nice. They have a lot of opal, a lot of sock yarns, and they have different stuff. So they have a lot of stuff. Then we have the craft. what's the name? Stitchcraft. And that I go there very often because they have, it's a small yarn store inside a home decor store. And they have Knit for Olive, and they have Lopi. So it's a complement. And then Windswept is, I think it's mostly the yarn that she dyes. Again, it's a small yarn store inside a home decor store. And I bought stuff there because she has some beautiful skeins. Some that are superwash, some non-superwash, because normally I like non-superwash, except if I'm making a shawl. Then superwash for me is better, I think, because it has more drape. And so Newfoundland has, St. John's has a good amount, because even though there are 3 different stores, they complement each other. What you don't find in one, you're going to find in the other. And then maybe 30 minutes west of St. John's, you have, and I'm looking at the name, Sea Spun Yarn and Coffee House at Carbonear, that she has lots of British yarns. So she has Mary Wallen's yarn. She has Jameson Smith. And then I bought some lichen there that is hand-dyed in Nova Scotia. But she has a different yarns. So I think that I'm well served because I can find different things in different areas. And today, because I didn't remember one of the name of the yarn stores, I did yarn stores in Newfoundland. I need to travel, guys, because I haven't been to all the yarn stores in Newfoundland. That's my goal. So I think last year I started talking to Jeanine. So I met her through the channel, and we have exchanged some messages and talked. And she said that she was coming to Newfoundland this year. And I said, well, sad because I'm going to Alaska. But then we end up meeting them because they live in Nova Scotia. It's sad that it's so far, because I think one of the highest points of my trip was meeting Jeanine. It was so nice to be again with a person that loves what you love and to talk. It was really great. So we spent some time. They also have an Airstream, even though we were with the truck camper. And we spent some times, because they were exploring Newfoundland too. So we were together in 2 campsites, and then they came to our house just for a day visit in the mess that we have here. And it was really great. Jeanine makes beautiful quilts. Like, you have quilts and you have art quilts. So that's what Jeanine makes. I love them both. I love the regular quilts, and I just love hers. It's another level of quilts. And I'll put her link on the bottom so that you can see her quilts on Instagram, because they're gorgeous. So that was for me a highlight. Mihai's gonna put some shots from the trip, and also from me and Jeanine having fun together. So it was really nice. That's it for now, and I will come back with the yarn, the projects in progress, the WIPs, and I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me. Please put a comment so that I know more about you, because I want more Jeanines in my life. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.
use in trying to write another song when I've got 100 others that are only half done? They've been stripped for parts and left to rust somewhere in the junkyards of my mind. I don't recommend you look for them, you never know what you might find. What's the use in trying to explain who I am? I am just a combination of every book I've ever read, every skyline I've looked upon, and every tune I've ever hummed. Every alleyway I've stumbled down, and every girl I've ever loved. But I wish that I could tell you how I feel.
Complex Minier de Montblanc.
And I wish that I could lay it all out. I wish that I could open up my heart to you. I wish that I could sing it for you, sing it for you now. Sometimes there just ain't nothing left that needs to be said, but I've got a concrete mixer rolling thoughts around my head. When it spits them out, I catch them in a notebook, and I call it a new song. All my deepest fears and worries set to melody so that you can sing along. I wish that I could tell you how I feel. I wish that I could let it all out. I wish that I could open
How many times you must lie to keep it together? It goes on, it goes on, it goes on. How many years roll on by? We learn from each other. How many chances do you get to fade or recover? It goes on, 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 it goes on. And how many roads you were told that go on forever? And how many times you must lie to keep it together? It goes on, it goes on, it goes on, it goes on. It goes on, it goes on, it goes on, it goes on.
This is beautiful.
Turn left after 150 meters onto Trans-Canada Highway.
Look at that.
Look what I found.
Huh?
Turn left.
Oh, I have to see yarn stores near me.
Please turn next left.
I have to support the little business, small business here. Eu só tô vendo o Bill falar. Isso não é extreme knitting.
Não é não, de jeito nenhum. Here we go.
He has to watch the old shows of fruit knitting to understand.
But what's interesting here, Mihai, is that she and I have different styles of knitting. I am a continental knitter and she's a Portuguese style knitter. So it's a little different, which is cool to see.
I sometimes try to do continental. I can do it, but I'm so slow. And isn't that English?
Or English, yeah. But
I learned that way.
But I've done your style. I was taught in Brazil how to do your style. But this is just,
Faster for you.
What is more comfortable. With small needles like this and for a sock, that's what I do.
Essa soca tá ficando muito
Fica-
linda.
tá bonita, né?
Tá muito
Eu tô achando
linda.
muito bonita.
Eu gostei muito
E as
do
cores,
tecido junto. Que cor é o
O mohair
é azul claro?
é azul claro, olha aqui.
Tá muito
É
lindo.
azul claro. E
Esse é o mohair da Rowan?
outro. Esse é o Kid Silk
So-
Haze da Rowan.
Uhum.
Esse aqui é o da Turtle Pearl Yarns.
Eu tenho em vermelho o que o Silk Hay.
Uhum.
Eu preciso comprar Preciso comprar.
Precisa. Ó, tchuk! Precisa.
Eu
We don't
preciso
need
comprar
it anymore.
que tenha listas em vermelho.
But you know, she does have it. Ai,
my
que
gosh.
delícia. Que delícia. Tá vendo, Bill? Aí. We need red stripes now. What fun.
Ok.
Que gostoso te encontrar aqui.
Muito bom.
Puxa vida.
A gente só tem que
Serendipity.
dormir, né? Não tá indo. O
Ai,
Bill tá
ai.
falando, bem, vamos deitar que essa visita tão cansada.
E você tem que trabalhar amanhã.
Eu tenho.
Tem ainda
Mas você
essa.
sabe, o pior é que eu tô dormindo no banco de baixo. Eu dormi essa
por
noite
causa do
quase inteira.
cachorro.
Ele é tão terrível que eu acordei de manhã, Mihai colocou ele para fora e eu fui para a cama de cima para esticar e dormir um pouco. Ele voltou, Mihai foi tomar banho. Ele não chorou, porque ele sabia que eu estava lá. Mas ficou andando e depois foi com as duas patinhas na escada para subir. É um terror. Tem que ficar grudado na mãe.
Lucky.